All right, welcome to day 3 of the 5-day embodiment experience. Today, we are working with the emotion of anger. And I know that that can be a bit intimidating or scary for some people. And I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with anger. So I always want to start and preface with that. None of these emotions that we're moving through, there's nothing wrong with them. They're not bad. We're not trying to get rid of them. What I really like to do with emotions that can be challenging and difficult is to learn how to embody them in a way where they don't take over, and also understand them better. So much of this process is us finding a way to be with them in our body and to release them and disperse the energy so it doesn't feel so concentrated and like we can't handle it. But also why we close with the body talk is to do a deeper inquiry into this emotion, why it's showing up in our life. As I talked about in the past, either in day 1 or day 2, that emotions are like sacred alarms in our body. So they're trying to get our attention. They're trying to wake us up to something. There's great opportunity for deep insight when we really start to tune into the emotion in a deeper way and not just be like, this is bad, this is wrong, I want to get rid of this. So other emotions that there's lots of words for anger, right? So it could also be resentment or frustration or irritability or bitterness. So all of those can kind of live within a realm together. And I'm sure all of us can relate to, yeah, there are times in our life where we feel really frustrated, where we feel really irritable, where anger comes up. So we're gonna have a conversation about that today and move that energy through our body. So the organ that is associated with the emotion of anger is the liver. So first I want to explain where the liver is. It's in the upper right part of your abdomen, and it's quite big. So it's quite big here, and it's just beneath the diaphragm. It supports detoxification. It filters blood, and it filters blood and also toxic substances. So things like alcohol and drugs. It helps to actually move the toxicity of that out of our body. It helps digest fat, and it also carries away waste. And in traditional Chinese medicine, liver qi is important for the smooth flow of qi in our entire body. So as you can imagine, having a healthy liver and having healthy liver qi is essential because that impacts the qi of our entire body. And again, remember, qi means breath or life force energy. So the liver meridian, just much like the other 2 meridians that we've covered already, the spleen meridian and the kidney meridians, is it begins at the foot, moves up the inner thigh, and then up the torso. The liver meridian specifically starts at the edge of the big toe, and then it runs along the top of the foot to the inner ankle, and then moves up the outermost seam of the leg. So remember yesterday with the kidney, it moved the innermost seam. So this is the outermost seam of the inner leg. And then it goes up through the pelvis and then zigzags up the side of the torso. So again, I explain all this, not that you need to know exactly where the meridian is, but you know, all of these movements that we're doing when we're stretching the inside of the thigh, the back of the leg, the torso, all of this, it's all accessing these channels. And these channels, as we move and we breathe and we stretch and we become embodied through the breath, we're doing this clearing of the channels. Okay, so the 2 mind traps that we're covering today, because each day we've been covering mind traps. And again, remember, these mind traps can manifest all sorts of different types of emotion for us. It's not like these 2 mind traps will only manifest anger or resentment or frustration, but I find that these 2 mind traps do tend to lean towards evoking emotions that make us feel some spectrum of anger. So the first one is blame. And blame is holding others responsible for your own pain, or holding yourself responsible for the problems of others. I'm going to say that again because I just think that definition is so right on. Blame is holding others responsible for your own pain, It's your fault this is happening to me. It's your fault I feel this way. It's your fault that my life is going this way. Or holding yourself responsible for the problems of others. And so, much like the other mind traps that we've been covering over day 1 and day 2, there is an antidote to this. You know, first and foremost, it's always awareness, being aware that, oh, this is a mind trap, right? This is a human condition. We have these mental patterns that we can get trapped in, like being pushed up against a corner. And when we get trapped in those mental patterns, they cause actions, they cause behavior. And when we're in that place of being trapped in blame, of course, we're going to show up, we're going to act, we're going to behave, we're going to react differently than if we weren't in a place of blaming. And so for me, a big part of, and this used to be a big one for me, my friends, in my 20s, I operated from a big place of blame. And for me, mindfulness practices, so much of what we're doing here today has really helped to disperse that energy. I'm able to catch myself when I'm in the blame game and go, you know what? Now I want to hold myself responsible for my actions in my life. You know, I'm able to actually have a breath. There's space between the stimuli of feeling triggered, feeling frustrated, feeling resentment, feeling irritable. There's actually a space before I react so that I can respond. And another really powerful thing is letting go rituals, which is what we're doing here today. We're doing that with our bodies, but we're also going to be doing that when we go into the body talk process. And then the second mind trap is called the eternal expert. So being the eternal expert. So this is being in a state where you feel you always need to defend your actions and your opinions. Always needing to defend your actions and your opinions. And my friends, first of all, that's just exhausting, right? To be in that place where we're always armored up. We're always like in the defense. We always have to be like, yeah, but, you know, and this is why I did this, and this is why I think this way. And for me, when I catch myself in that mind trap of being the eternal expert, I ask myself, do you want to be right? And I say that with quotations, right? Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? And that just allows me to, okay, why am I fighting so hard here? And this isn't about giving up or giving in or not having a voice about things that matter to you, but it is noticing when you're in this fight and in this place of defense, which in that place, we're not getting our point of view across anyways, right? So there you go. We have six mind traps now. Our final mind trap will be tomorrow. I hope these are really helpful for you. I know that years ago when I started to do this inquiry, learn about the mind traps, and then actually do inquiry in my life about when they show up, man, so much changed for me. And for me, yoga is not just about getting on the mat and getting in our body, but it's also understanding what's going on up here. Okay. So with that being said, let's get right into it, because I'd love for us to have a full 30 minutes to flow and be in our bodies. So at this point, and I'll put the playlist for the embodiment practice one more time in the chat for those of you who are here live. And if you are, got some more people here. If you are watching this later, you'll be able to get the replay in the description below. Okay, so let's go ahead and all begin the playlist now together. I'll count to 3, and on 3, go ahead and hit play. At 1, 2, 3. And actually, with that being said, I'm going to put it on for me too. Just let me know, James, since I can see you on the screen, I'm playing the music. Give me a thumbs up if you cannot hear it, because I don't want you to hear it. Okay, cool. So you cannot hear it. Good. So on my end, I just want to hear it. I don't want it to get recorded, because then I won't be able to upload this. And again, go ahead and start the playlist now on your end, if you want the music. And today I'm going to begin with a story for you all. It's a Zen story. It's a Zen parable. It's called Heaven and Hell. And it's one of the most beautiful stories I've ever heard that really gave me a new perspective on anger. So in this story, there's this samurai, and this is a big, strong, tough, brawny samurai. And he approached a Zen master who was deep in meditation. And he approached him very impatient and was quite discourteous. And the samurai just walked up to him and demanded in this really husky, loud voice, because he was so accustomed to being forceful and yelling, he didn't even realize he was doing it. And he said to the Zen master, "Tell me the nature of heaven and hell." And the Zen master, from his deep meditation, opened his eyes, looked at the samurai right in the face and said, "Why should I answer you? You're disgusting. Look at you. You're a slob. Why should I give any information to just a worm like you? Why should I tell you anything? I can't even stand you. I can't stand people like you. Get out of my sight. I have no time for your silly questions. They're for you." And the samurai couldn't bear it. The samurai got so angry, he couldn't bear the insults, and he became consumed by rage. And then he drew his sword and he raised it in a moment. He was about to sever the Zen master's head. And then, looking straight into the samurai's eye, the Zen master tenderly declared, "That's hell." And the samurai froze, and he immediately understood that anger had him in his grip. And his mind had just created his own hell. And he was, that which was filled with resentment, hatred, self-defense. And he realized that he was so deep in his own torment that he was ready to kill somebody. And then the samurai's eyes filled with tears. And he set his sword down and he put his palms together and brought it to his third eye. And he just bowed in gratitude for this insight. And then the Zen master gently acknowledged with a really delicate smile, "And that's heaven." So with that story in your heart and your mind, let's all come onto our backs. We're going to begin with a breathwork practice called Durga Pranayama. And as you lie on your back, you're going to bring both of your hands onto your low belly below your navel. Both of your hands on your low belly below your navel. And as you do that, relax the elbows, relax the shoulders so that you can really land here in this moment. And you're going to begin to take an inhale through the nose, filling the belly, just the belly like a balloon expanding. And then as you exhale through the nose, you'll feel the belly drawing back towards the low back spine. Beautiful. You're going to continue to do that on your own for about 2 or 3 more rounds, just inhaling into the low belly, feeling the belly expand, rising up. And then on the exhale, feeling it draw back towards the low back spine. And again, just do 1 or 2 more like that on your own, becoming familiar of bringing the breath to the chamber of the low belly. After your next exhale, you're going to slide your hands up to your rib cage. You might have to widen the arms a little bit more to really hold onto the rib cage. And this time, as you inhale, feel the rib cage expanding out like an accordion opening. And as you exhale, feel the rib cage drawing back in towards your center line. Much like an accordion, opening and closing. Again, every inhale, feel the rib cage expanding from left to right, but also feel it rising up and down. So it's this 3-dimensional expansion. And then as you exhale it, feel the rib cage drawing back in towards your center line. Beautiful. And again, just a few more breaths like that. Now again, on your next exhale, you'll slide your hands up to your collarbone. So your hands are resting on your chest and your fingertips are on your collarbone. And as you inhale, you're going to feel the collarbone lengthening. Maybe even the sternum slightly rising. And then as you exhale, you'll feel everything drawing back in towards center and the top of the lungs, top of the sternum relaxing back towards the back of the heart. Again, inhale, feel the collarbones lengthening, broadening, the sternum rising. And as you exhale, everything comes back towards the center and rests and lands towards the back of the heart. Beautiful. Now slide your hands back down your belly. And this time as you inhale, you're going to fill all three cavities. So as you inhale, you'll feel the belly rise. Then the rib cage expand, sliding your hands up to the rib cage. And then the sternum broadening and lifting as you bring your hands there. Now, as you exhale, feel everything drawing back down towards the center. And again, slide your hands back down towards the belly. So you're tracing and following the breath as you inhale and you exhale. Again, as you inhale, slide the hands up, feeling the breath move from the belly to the rib cage, to the sternum. And then as you exhale, slide the hands down, tracing the breath as it leaves the body. And everything hugs in towards the center. Do that one more time on your own. Good. After you've completed that, bring your arms down by your side and just take 2 breaths like that with your arms by your side. Full inhalations all the way from the belly up to the sternum, up to the top of the lungs. And then exhale, releasing, becoming totally empty, bringing that breath back down to the low belly. And after you've completed a couple of rounds of that, you can just come back to your natural breathing. So Durga Pranayama, 3-part breathing, is extremely grounding and extremely relaxing. It's a cooling breath that you can use whenever you're feeling emotions getting heightened. And then go ahead and draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a little squeeze, a little hug here. Maybe rock side to side, just massaging the low back. And then you're going to gently bring your hands to the back of your thighs, swing your legs forward so that you can come up to a seated position, swinging your legs around and coming to sit on your shins. Knees are together, hips to heels. This is Vajra Asana. You're going to bring your hands in, you're going to draw your thumbs in and then wrap your forefingers around your thumbs. And then bring your fists together and bring that mudra, that seal, right above your pubic bone to the lowest part of your belly. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over your legs, bringing your third eye to the mat or possibly to a block. You just want to relax the head and relax the neck as much as possible. Once you've settled into this, relax the shoulders, relax the elbows. Take an inhale into the middle of your spine. And then exhale with a little sigh. You'll notice as you inhale, you're going to feel the fist or the belly pressing into the fist. And as you exhale, you'll feel this sense of release. You can continue like that. If you want more sensation, you can begin to knead the right and then the left fist into the low belly. Just a slow kneading, deepening the sensation, and continuing to breathe here. And if you want a bit more sensation, you can begin to rock the fist. So right, left, going a little bit fast, and you'll feel the shoulders and elbows rocking. Again, continue to breathe, no force, just focus, staying embodied. And noticing what you're noticing and feeling what you're feeling. This is a deep opener for the low back, releasing serotonin in the body as well. If you're kneading your fists or rocking your fist, come to a standstill. Let's all take one final inhale here. And as you exhale, lift your torso enough to release your arms and then bring them by your side for Balasana, child's pose. Relax the arms towards the earth along the side of your legs. Take a couple breaths here. Notice what you're noticing. Feel what you're feeling. No rush. Allow each sensation to simmer for a moment, letting the body really settle here. And slowly begin to slide the arms forward. Lift the hips, lift the head, and rise up to downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here to pedal that out. Bend the knees, maybe do a little walk here in place. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Whatever you do, really land in downward facing dog in a way that feels good and right in your body in this moment. Take an inhale through the nose. And then exhale with a sigh. Do that again. Inhale through the nose. And exhale with a sigh. Slowly begin to walk your hands back towards your feet so that you're in a forward fold in the back of your mat. Bend your knees, grab opposite elbows, and let the weight of your head go so the crown of the head is towards the earth. The low belly is drawing in and up. And again, bend the knees as much as possible to really feel a release in the low back. So you want to feel the torso connected close to the thighs here. If there's any rocking or swaying that naturally wants to happen, let that happen. And if you feel rooted and still in this place, that's fine as well. Good. Release the arms to the earth. Heel toe your feet so they're as wide as your mat, and then turn the toes out at a 45-degree angle. You're going to bring your hips down between your heels so you're in a squat. If this is a challenging pose for you, find a block or a pillow or a cushion and place it under your butt so that you have some support. Otherwise, just let your hips fall between your heels. Bring your hands to prayer with your arms on the inside of your thighs as we get into our inner thighs and our hips and our groin here in a Malasana pose. Feel the lengthening of the spine, crown of the head reaching the earth, staying here for a full round of the 4-part dynamic release breath. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale through your nose. This time, exhale through your nose. Third round, inhale through your nose. And exhale with a sigh, bathing the nervous system. Fourth round, inhale through the nose. And then exhale any way that feels most releasing to you. Release your hands to the earth. Lift the hips, heel toe the feet underneath the hips. Take an inhale, wave the spine up halfway, drawing the low belly in and up to engage your core. As you exhale, walk back out, downward facing dog. Let yourself settle there, land there just a moment, but we're going to move on. Now begin to walk your feet towards the front of the mat, finding a forward fold at the front of the mat. Fingertips to the earth. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway, draw the low belly in and up, engaging the core. As you exhale, bend the knees deeply, chin to chest. Begin to wave the spine up vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. As you inhale, float the arms out and around up overhead like you're moving through thick salt water. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, touch the back of your heart, acknowledging your shadow side. And then bring your hands to the front of your heart, acknowledging your light. Take your arms by your side, Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment, notice what you're noticing. Feel what you're feeling here. As you inhale, sweep the arms out and around up overhead, soften the joints, much like you're doing a Qigong practice. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, light bend in the knees, fold over your legs. Fingertips grace the earth. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. As you exhale, step the right foot to the back of the mat. Find a strong, stable, low lunge here. Feel the back heel balancing over the ball of the foot, heart extended forward, and then step back, plank, top of a push-up. Rock forward on your tippy toes as you exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, slide forward onto your belly. Press the tops of the feet down as you pull the heart forward and up, baby cobra. And then as you exhale in your own way, in your own time, downward facing dog. Inhale, back of the heart, back of the lungs. And exhale, let that go with a ah. Step the feet together at the back of the mat. Your two big toes touch. Root the left heel down as you extend the right leg, three-legged down dog. Feel the energy moving in the back of that left leg. Keep drawing the shoulders away from your ears. Breathe here. Rise to the ball of your left foot. Keep the hips high. Rise to tented fingers on your right hand. And as you exhale, bring that right knee towards your forehead, keeping the hips high. And then step the right foot in between your hands like a ninja. Land quietly. Root the left hand down as you exhale. Float the right arm up, twisting the heart open. Take 3 breaths here. Notice what you're noticing. Feel what you're feeling. Good. Now take your gaze towards that right thumb. Start to circle the arm towards the back of the mat, down. As the hand frames that right foot, lower the left knee to the mat. And then as you exhale, send your hips back, straightening the right leg for Ardha Hanumanasana, flexing the toes so the toes face the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen the torso, draw the outer right hip back in space. As you exhale, extend the heart towards the toes, toes towards the heart, and relax the neck muscles. Now slowly begin to crawl forward. Find your low lunge once again. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and then rise on up, high crescent lunge, reaching the arms up overhead. Feel yourself strong and steady. If you're not, heel toe the right foot a little bit more to the right, and then feel the back heel balancing on the ball of the foot. Now bring your hands to prayer. Feel free to lower the left knee, or from here, keeping that back knee up, you're going to twist to the right, bringing the elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Press the top palm into the bottom palm as you open up and twist into this. And just like me, if you ever get wobbly, just make sound effects. It makes it fun. Good, and breathe here. Just 2 more breaths. All right, slowly frame your front foot. Take an inhale, step forward halfway. And then as you exhale, fold over your legs. Again, inhale, come on up halfway. As you exhale, bend the knees deeply, chin to chest, wave the spine up vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, sweep the arms out and around, up over your head. And this time, as you exhale, bend the elbows, just fold right over your legs. Starting to feel warm here already. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. Exhale, step the left foot to the back of the mat. Again, take a moment here, find a strong and stable low lunge before moving on, and then root the hands down, step back to plank, top of a push-up. Rock forward on your tippy toes as you exhale. From here, you can either lower all the way to the mat or halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. And as you exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Slowly start to walk the big toes to touch. Root the right heel down, extend the left leg in the air, 3-legged down dog. Hold here, feel the energy moving in the back of that right leg. Notice yourself getting warmer and stay present to the breath. Now rise high to the ball of the right foot. Rise to tented fingers on your left hand. Keep the hips high as you draw the left knee in, and like a ninja, silently step through. Find that low lunge. Maybe scoot the right foot back in space, root the right hand down, float the left arm up, twisting to the left. And breathe here. Now take your gaze towards the left thumb. Start to circle the arm back, down, and around, lowering the right knee to the mat. And as you exhale, send the hips back, straightening that left leg, flexing the left toes. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway so that you can draw your outer left hip back in space. And as you exhale, extend the heart towards the toes, relax the neck muscles. Couple breaths here. All right, slowly start to crawl forward. From your core, from your center, rise up high crescent lunge, reach the arms up overhead. Again, get stable here, strong before moving on. Bring your hands to your heart center. Feel free to lower the back right knee or stay up. As you exhale, twist to the right, press the top palm towards the bottom palm. Open across the upper back and chest. So today we're getting a little sweat on, doing our twists and helping the liver to detox. Now slowly frame the front foot. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, step forward and fold over your legs. Inhale, wave the spine up halfway. And then exhale, fold over your legs. And just let yourself hang out here. And slowly come to sit on your mat. You're going to either come onto your back, or you can stay upright. So you're either going to thread the needle on your back, crossing your right ankle over your left knee and thread the needle here. Or you can stay upright for fire log pose, stacking your right ankle just above the right knee. So if you're upright, I recommend you take tented fingers. So you're flexing both feet, shins are parallel to each other, tented fingers pressing into the earth so that you can really find the length in the spine and you'll feel your outer right hip opening. Now, if you have more in you, you can start to lean forward, maybe bring your forearm to that shin or in front of you. Just meeting yourself where you're at as you get into that outer right hip. And those of you on your back, as much as possible, flex the right foot, relax the left foot. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Three more breaths here. All right, if you're folded forward in an upright seated position, come upright. If you're on your back, just switch legs. Now bring the left ankle over the right knee. And for those of you who are seated, just switch your legs here. So now the left ankle is on the right knee, but you actually want to bring the ankle kind of behind it for those sitting. Otherwise, it's going to hurt. It's going to be bone to bone. Again, start slowly, really listen to your body via your breath and sensation. And then slowly settle into this to find the space and allow for an opening. So when we go into this from a place of force, we actually lock the chi because we're tensing and we're locking our joints and we're locking our mind and we're locking our breath. But when we go in from a place of focus, curiosity, we create spaciousness for the energy to flow, freeing our river. Three more breaths here. Good. Slowly unwind. And then let's all meet on our backs. You're going to take one tennis ball. We only need one today. And you're going to bring it. Actually, let's take two at first because I'd love for us. So while the liver is just on the right side of the body, we're going to get the right and left side. So just below the shoulder blades, you're going to place the tennis balls on either side of the spine. So we're stimulating the liver on the right side. And actually getting into the spleen on the left side. Again, the tennis balls are just below the scapula, and you want to relax the front of the rib cage as much as possible. If you want a bit more sensation, feel free to grab a hold of the knees. Can either keep the ankles wide or cross at the ankles and make the knees wide. You'll notice that that creates more body weight and therefore more sensation. If your feet are not already there, place them onto the earth. Remove the tennis balls out from underneath you. And then you're going to lift the hips and slide the 2 tennis balls underneath your sacrum. Go ahead and balance the knees so that the knees are just balanced above the hip. And if it doesn't feel quite right, just kind of rock and sway and get the tennis balls underneath your sacrum in a way that feels good. Essentially, they're on the 2 pressure points on your sacrum that are slightly above your butt crack and to the left and the right of it. And then you can either just stay here balancing your knees or extend the legs up towards the sky. And the tennis balls act as this sort of kind of kickstand, helping the legs extend. We're doing a very restorative inversion here, letting the blood flow up into our internal organs and our hearts and our lungs, and of course the liver as well. All right, if your legs are extended, slowly start to bend the knees, bring the feet onto the earth, lift the hips, remove the tennis balls. Now you only need 1 tennis ball. Take it to the outside of your right hip somewhere. So you have this big surface area, your entire hip, your upper hip, your lower hip, and also your entire glute. You get to place it anywhere you want. So maybe you place it deep into the glute, up high on the hip. You want to have your body flat on the earth, and then let that right knee open up out to the right laterally like a book opening. Now, if it feels like too much, like you can't totally relax that right leg or it hurts your knee, place support under it, such as a block. Or if it feels like it's hitting the femur bone or it's not quite in the right spot, just lift the knee and slightly move it. All right, lift your knee and find a second spot on this side. And then slowly let the knee open out to the right. And the more you relax, the more the external rotators, the hips will relax. And then the tennis ball will be able to move deeper into the fascia, and you'll get a release in the muscles, but it's also this release of the chi, this release of this emotional kind of baggage that also just feels like it begins to dissipate. And then go ahead and lift the knee, extend both legs straight, moving the tennis ball out from underneath you. Extend both legs straight, and just take a moment to notice the difference between the 2 sides. Good, go ahead and bend both knees once again. Now place the tennis ball under the left hip somewhere. It does not need to match the other side, just let sensation guide you. And then slowly let the knee open out laterally out to the left. Again, relaxing that leg, the leg muscles as much as possible. Just as I did, if any sighing sounds want to come out, let that happen. All right, lift the knee and find your second and final spot on this side. And if you're loving this, know that you can come to this anytime. I find that the hip work with the tennis balls, the self-myofascial release, is so good after getting a little bit of sweat on, a little bit of movement, a little bit of stretching. Our glutes and our external rotators are more open, and therefore we can get more out of this. Stay there about 3 more breaths. And then as you feel ready, you're going to slowly remove that tennis ball out from underneath you and come into a moment of Shavasana, just giving your body and your mind some time to integrate that. In 30 minutes, we did quite a lot. Remember, we began here on our back, breathing in the 3-part Durga Pranayama. And then we come full circle, meeting ourselves once again here on our backs. Let's all take a collective inhale here and bring that breath all the way to the tip of your heart, top of your lungs. When you think you've sipped in all the air you can, sip in a little bit more and then hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale out of the mouth. And each day as we close here, before we move into the body talk process, I close by reading a poem I wrote. And this poem is about letting go. It's very short. I am letting go of my armor. I no longer need to hide behind a layer of protection so thick that you can't feel just how real and human I am. I no longer need to tell myself stories about how different we are from each other. I no longer need to feel a sense of control through self-righteousness and judgment. I no longer need to sacrifice my happiness so that I can feel right. Instead, I choose freedom. All right, go ahead and slowly in your own time and your own way, come up to a seated position. We'll do one more embodiment practice before we get into the writing, but go ahead and get your journal and your pen nearby. If you need a sip of water, take that. The final embodiment practice that I want to teach you is a breathwork practice called Shitakari. And Shitakari is a very cooling practice. So it can cool your temperature, but also think about it like anger is a very heated emotion. So it can also cool our emotions down. And so the way you do it, I'll show it once and then we'll do 3 rounds together. You inhale through the teeth with a closed mouth. It looks like this. And then you do a slight chin lock, which looks like this. You're just slightly dropping the chin down and lengthening the back of the neck, and then you exhale through the nose. So again, you inhale through the teeth with a closed mouth, chin lock, and then exhale through the nose. It's so good. So let's do 3 together. Shitakari. Inhale through the teeth. Slight chin lock. And exhale through the nose. Feel the shoulders dropping. 2 more on your own. Really feel the body soften on that exhale, 3rd round. All right, so let's get into some inquiry. All right. All right, the first question is, when do you notice your anger? Really simple. When do you notice your anger? And if you have a hard time connecting with anger, then when do you notice your frustration? When do you notice your irritation, your irritability the most? So what are the external circumstances or the internal circumstances that tend to trigger anger for you, frustration for you, irritability for you? Again, if you love to have a playlist, a little music in the background as you journey into this, and there's a second question to this. I just put the playlist in the chat for those of you who are here live. And again, those of you watching the replay, the playlists are down below in the description. Go ahead and take about 2-3 minutes to explore this. When do you notice anger the most? Let's take about another 30 seconds to explore that. And then go ahead and begin to wrap that up. And the second half of this, you'll see that I actually shared on the screen the questions here, both the first one and the second one. So now that you've explored when you notice that emotion of anger, of frustration, of irritation, show up in your life the most. Now for the second one, I want you to imagine your anger is someone watching over you. So we've done a lot of this in day 1 and 2, really looking at our emotions as almost a person and really getting to know them and having a conversation with them in some way, shape, or form, or our body. So imagine your anger is someone actually watching over you. And what they're doing is they're acting out inside you, right? And it's showing up as frustration or anger, irritation. They're acting out when you are mistreated or misunderstood. So if that were the case for anger, how does this change your view of your experience of anger? And or what insight occurs for you through this lens? Go ahead and take a few minutes to explore that. All right, go ahead and begin to wrap that up. And then to close, I want to give you this optional writing prompt, which if this is something you want to do, you'll do this on your own time. But again, as in the beginning, I said that letting go practices are really beautiful, letting go rituals, really beautiful way to help disperse and even better understand, like giving anger a voice, and doing it in a way that feels productive. So much like my poem that I read to you, if that resonated with you and you want to do your own practice of that, you may want to do the writing prompt, I'm letting go of, and then just riff off of that. You know, stream of consciousness, just riff off what you're letting go of. And then once you're done with what you're letting go of, you close by saying, I choose. And it could just be a single word, like mine was freedom, or just 1 to 3 words. What are you choosing instead? So that's an optional writing prompt for you. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here on day 3. I'm very much looking forward to day 4 and day 5. Again, every day is totally different. While the structure is the same, the tools that I bring are quite different. And the writing prompts are all so unique. So I hope to see you here live or catch the replay if you're not able to. Either way, I'm so glad that you're a part of this, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.